Well, a promise is a debt for me, and right here at K24 TV, and I'm back as I did tell you at the top of the hour with the news that are making headlines as of now. My name is Samuel Njoroge, and our sign language interpreter for this bulletin will be Clement Muli. Now, kicking us off is the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, has this morning cleared Jubilee Party candidate in the Kibra parliamentary race, McDonald Mariga, to contest in the mini poll. IEBC Chairman Wafula Chebukati said Mariga is a duly registered voter, having been issued with an acknowledgement slip after he registered as a voter in Starehe constituency last month. Chebukati also absolved Mariga from invalidation on the basis that his name missed from the voters' register, terming it as a technological constraint.
Conclusion: from the foregoing reasons, we come to the following conclusion and issue the following orders. 1, or A, the complainant is duly registered as a voter. B, the respondent's decision of 10 September 2019 declining the nomination of the complainant on account that he was not registered as a voter is hereby set aside. C, the respondent is hereby ordered to process the complainant's application for nomination as the Jubilee Party's candidate for the Kibra constituency by-election slated for 7th November 2019 in accordance with the law.
Watu wameongea vitu mingi kunihusu, wameongea mabaya kunihusu, lakini mimi si mtu wa kuongea mengi, mimi si mtu wa kuleta grudge. Mimi ni mtu wa kunyamaza na kusikia na kuongea less sana. Sasa na forgive hao watu wote wameongea kunihusu vibaya, na sasa tunataka tuende Kibra tuongee na wana Kibra, au ndo watadecide nani atakuwa kiongozi wao ama mbunge wao. Na au ndo atakuwa mabosses wangu, na najua mambo itaenda poa tarehe 7 Novemba.
Na ushindi utakaopatikana itakuwa ni ya watu wa Kibra. Na mtumishi ambaye watachukua kiongozi wao. Sisi tu kama chama ni kupatia support Mariga, lakini sisi sio yeye, na sisi sio ndio tunaomba kura. Yeye ndio muomba kura, na yeye ndio akichakuliwa atatumikia watu wa Kibra.
I want to request the competitors of McDonald Mariga to stop erecting imaginary obstacles in the way. To settle the matter, let the people of Kibra vote. The people who are now attempting to come up with the issue of age, again, let us inform you. The two ages at stake is age 18 and age 21. Mariga is over 18 and therefore he's free to vote. Mariga is over 21 and therefore is free to contest. Yes. End of story.
Now, elsewhere, Sarah Wairimo, the widow of the late Dutch tycoon Tob Cohen, will take plea on the 26th of this month in a case involving the mysterious death of her husband. Wairimo was presented before Lady Justice Jessie Lesit this morning, but could not take plea, with her lawyer Philip Murgo insisting a psychiatric examination needs to be conducted on her. Justice Lesit has ordered that the post-mortem on the late Cohen be conducted tomorrow.
I appear for the Republic. I appear together with Alexander Muteti. It was then ordered that our client would be taken for mental assessment, so that plea could be taken today. We asked to be present at such assessment together with a doctor, and it was so ordered. Our client was not taken for that assessment on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. Even before we go to the issue of bail, I did mental assessment of the accused person has not been done. And as prosecution, we feel that that should take precedent. And then we come to the issue of plea and bail. 26th is the next week. 26th is suitable for plea.
Victims, prosecution, defense, to desist addressing the media on the investigations or evidence that are alleged to exist in this case. And also the media is also prevented from publishing investigations into the matter.
Now, the Supreme Court has now directed the Mediation Committee on the Revenue Allocation to file their report by the 23rd of this month to allow for an advisory opinion of a revenue allocation share. Chief Justice David Maraga says the Apex Court will deliver a ruling on the matter on the 8th of October. The Council of Governors has, however, insisted the issue at hand is a matter of principles, saying that counties are suffering following the delay of funds. This, as Senate holds a special sitting to discuss the county revenue allocation bill that will pave way for share allocation of the funds to counties.
The two houses of parliament, having agreed on the division of revenue for this financial year, we direct that they file the mediation report on or before the 23rd of September 2019. We note that the Speaker of the National Assembly has raised a preliminary objection on this court's jurisdiction to entertain this matter. The parties having filed their written submissions on the issue, we shall deliver our ruling on that issue on the 8th of October 2019 at 9 a.m.
Both houses have now agreed on 316.5. What remains now is to process that in both houses, and then the Senate have come up with the county allocation of revenue, what we call KARA. After that, then the counties will be able to get money. This case had nothing to do with the quantum. This case had to do with the principles. We feel that if these principles are not addressed, then we are going to have the same issues coming up again.
Now, leaders from the Western Kenya region have decried the high number of Luhya candidates in the Kibra mini poll, terming it as a test of the much-sought Luhya unity. The leaders affiliated to the Tanga Tanga movement protested the decision by ANC and Ford Kenya parties to field candidates separately in the mini poll, saying it waters down efforts to unite the region ahead of the 2022 poll. Here is Jasmine Wamboi with more on that report.
Ahead of the November 7th Kibra parliamentary race, leaders from Western Kenya have faulted ANC party leader Musalia Mudavadi and his Ford Kenya counterpart Moses Wetangula for fielding candidates separately in the mini poll, saying the move watered down their attempt to unite the Luhya vote and increase its footprint within the city.
Sasa nyinyi mnasema Luhya unity. Baya kura ndio ile imekuja Kibira, Musalia ndio huyo amekuja na candidate yake ameweka hapo. Wetangula ndio huyo amekuja na candidate yake ameweka hapo.
Tulikuwa tunataka tuungane ndio tuwe na usemi. Wale watu wako mbele ndio wanaturudisha nyuma. Mmesikia tunataka tuwe na rais, huyo anajitokeza anataka kuwa rais.
Speaking during a fundraiser at the Catholic Church in Chinyalu constituency, the leaders led by Majority Whip in the National Assembly Ben Washali and former Senator Dr. Boni Halwale alleged the Luhya leaders are their own worst enemies. The leaders also vowed to oppose a proposed review of the constitution, which targets to create positions for a few elite.
Kama mtu anakuja kutuambia kwamba anataka kubadilisha katiba ndio tumtafutie kazi, mimi nakataa. Lakini kama mtu anasema kwamba anataka kubadilisha katiba ndio aweze kutetea yule mama wa Muranda, tutakuwa na yeye. Kama anataka kubadilisha katiba kwa sababu ya kutetea ule kijana wa Muranda, tutasimama na yeye.
I now want to advise Treasury that wherever it is that they are getting the money, because it was not in the budget, to fund the committee of BBI, it should be stopped forthwith. It is a waste of money because what people think they are working on is already a known outcome. So instead of spending public funds on these people, let them just allow Raila to announce his position, and Kenyans, we shall decide whether we are going to support that position or not.
Jasmine Omboy, K24 News Cut.
Now, also this afternoon, Principal Secretary Early Learning and Basic Education, that is Dr. Belio Kipsang, is giving a press briefing from Moi Avenue on the monitoring learner progress that has been ongoing. Would like to cross over to this venue and just get to listen into what is happening in as far as this story is concerned this far. And we've had a lot come forth from the ministry in as far as the ongoing activities. Today is all about the rehearsals. They begin their mathematical activity tomorrow, followed by English the following day, and we'll definitely get to see what result will be generated from this process this far. As the Cabinet Secretary, Professor George Magoha, intimated last week that this is not an examination. It has been a continuous assessment both on the learners and the CBC program this far. So we'll get to see what will be coming forth from our primary schools this week, get to understand what will be priority of the ministry, especially when it comes to the issue of progress, what has been done, what needs to be done, what is the stock this far when it comes to the rolling out of the competency-based curriculum. Definitely a story that will shape the news diaries across the country for the better part of this week. And on Friday, hopefully, we'll get a press briefing from the ministry in as far as what they've been able to identify is concerned. Actually, we already were told last week when the Cabinet Secretary was touring Thika that this has been an ongoing process since late last term, and actually some results are already within the custody of the Kenya National Examinations Council. So come this process for grade 3 students or learners this week, what will come forth will definitely inform what will be priority for government moving forward, even as we prepare for the new school calendar year, which commences on the 6th of January next year, as per the timetable released by the Ministry of Education. Expect much more in as far as this issue is concerned. Expect a lot even as we wait for Dr. Belio Kipsang, the Principal Secretary, Early Learning and Basic Education, to be addressing the press on what the ministry has identified in as far as this exercise is concerned this far. Right, let's move on now to other stories where K24 Secretary General, that is Francis Atwoli, has noted with concern alarm raised by women over sexual harassment in their workplaces. In a press statement earlier today, Atwoli, who was in the company of Public Service Cabinet Secretary Professor Margaret Kobia, noted that it is high time measures are put in place to curb the vice. On her part, Kobia noted that many religious sects are abusing women's rights in their places of worship.
We should narrow it down to our own perspectives. Now in countries, how are we affected by issues related to harassment and gender-based violence at our places of work? This is something of which we must be serious about it.
We have found churches, some either rogue bishops, rogue priests in Africa, where they're exploiting the women because of their either poverty-related or health-related, or where they promise and they charge them emotionally, and in the process we find women are constantly being exploited through religion. And I think in Kenya we have seen where women will give all their property, all their salary, to go to be prayed for by those rogue or fake bishops. Women who are here, we must rise up and educate other women and tell them, no, your relationship to God is direct.
So what are the priority stories for us as of now? The highlight being McDonald Mariga, now expected to be cleared by IEBC to contest for the Kibra by-election that's coming up on November 7th. And this is after the IEBC Disputes Tribunal did rule that McDonald is a registered voter, and therefore the concerns raised by Beatrice Muli, the returning officer IEBC for the Kibra by-election, are null and void. Now, this story will definitely be in our subsequent bulletins right here at K24 TV, but also another key story that has shaped the headlines as of now is the Supreme Court giving the mediation committee from the National Assembly and the Senate on the Division of Revenue Bill 2019-2020 to file their report by the 23rd of this month. Now, this will inform the advisory opinion that will be rendered by the Apex Court come the 8th of October this year. And also today, pursuant to Article 126 of the Constitution, the Senate will hold its sittings in Kitui County beginning today, and this is after they had their maiden sittings in Uasin Gishu County last year. The Senate Speaker Ken Lusaka did intimate to K24 TV that this session will come with priorities, especially on devolution as a process and how the residents of Kitui, as well as the neighboring counties of Makueni and Tana River, will benefit from the senators having their sittings from Kitui County beginning today all the way to the 20th of September. Now, those are the stories that are shaping headlines as of now. Thank you so much for watching News Cut. My name is Samuel Njoroge, but before we actually be able to wind up the bulletin, you remember that story that was filed by Franklin Masharia yesterday, quite an inspirational story that we were able to run right here at K24 TV, where a committee inmate was able to go to prison after being convicted of robbery with violence, but while there, he was in a position to study law, and he was, at the end of the day, after spending 16 years in community prison, Robert Onyango used his paralegal training in prison to argue his case, and Onyango was set free on Friday after undergoing remission, this taking place just 4 months after he was resentenced to 18 years in prison. Franklin Masharia reports about a Form 4 leaver who secured his freedom by learning law in prison and testing the system with his knowledge.
The journey has been long and treacherous for 39-year-old Alois Onyango. For a man who served 16 years in prison, Uhuru Park grounds is a sight to behold.
Mara yangu ya mwisho kanyaga, mguu yangu kanyaga hapa kiwanja ya Uhuru Park ilikuwa 2002, former President Mwai Kibaki akiapishwa hapa kiwanja. Mimi najisikia nikiwa na furaha mingi sana baada ya kaa jela miaka 16 na sasa niko uhuru.
In the year 2013, he was sentenced to hang after he was charged with robbery with violence, but he did not give up. While cooling his heels at Committee Maximum Prison, he studied law and went ahead to represent fellow inmates in their cases, some of who were set free. Riding on his success, Onyango applied for a retrial of his case, and after rigorous legal processes, Onyango is now a free man.
Kwa bahati mzuri mambo ya remission ikakuja na tukafurahia na nikawa moja ya wale watu ya kuondoka na hiyo remission. Kama singejifunza mambo ya sheria singetoboa, manake hiyo kifungo ukisamaliza appeal zako zote, so kujirudia na kuenda kotini inakuwa ni mambo mangumu.
He was fresh from high school when he was apprehended, owning almost nothing apart from his secondary school certificate, and had limited knowledge of the city.
Mambo imeni changanya mingi, manake hata mahali nilikuwa nimekaa nimeenda nimepata mabadiliko zimekuwa mingi, paka maploti zimejengwa mingi wakadha paka uwezi jua ni wapi unaelekea wapi na unaenda wapi. So ni unaongozwa tu kama mtoto mdogo ama kama kipofu. Kuna mambo mingi ambapo na regret, manake wale tulikuwa nayo shule wako mbele, nimepata wameendelea zaidi.
But besides the regrets, he has picked important life lessons. And since he has kept the hangman's noose, Onyango says that he will focus on offering pro bono services to inmates.
Wakati zetu tulipokuwa tunashikwa, ukikosana na mtu wanakuwekea robbery with violence. Lakini sasa hivi wanawekea watu mambo ya defilement.
He's currently putting up at a relative's place in Syokimau, saying that he was only handed 100 shillings by the prison authorities while he was leaving the correctional facility.
Kulingana na distance mahali ulishikwa, so nilishikwa within the Nairobi jurisdiction ya Nairobi, so napewa pesa ya kunifikisha katika mahakama ambapo ilinifunga, ambapo ni Kibera.
Alois Onyango has a lot of catching up to do in life, but just as he was determined to leave prison, is the same way he is determined to make it in life. Franklin Masharia, K24, Nairobi.
Well, what a classical case of making lemonade out of lemons. And at that inspirational note, would like to bring News Cut to a close. Thank you so much for watching the bulletin this afternoon. My name is Samuel Njoroge. Our sign language interpreter has been Clement Muli. Have a good afternoon. I'll see you tomorrow.